Good afternoon, family. Good afternoon. We on the porch. You already know. Y'all come on in. Y'all let me know you're on the porch. Come on in. Come on in. We're on the porch. Y'all know how we do it. It's been a little bit, but let's get back on the porch. Let's tag as many people as we can and let them know we are on the porch. We're on the porch, And we have one rule on the porch is when you come on, you let us know that you're here with us. So come on, come on, come on. Come on and let me know you're on the porch with me. Let me know you're on the porch. Say something. Let's tag as many people as we can. And just let me know that you're on the porch with me. Come on in, come on in. Have my YouTube channel on there. My dude, Zach, is on here. Good afternoon, Chi. Y'all come on in. Y'all tag as many people as you can. We're back on the porch. Got a few things that we want to talk about today. So come on in. Come on in. Share. Tag as many people as you can. Let them know that we are on the porch. And again, we got one rule on the porch. When you come on the porch, you got to speak. You got to let us know you're on the porch. Afternoon. Come on here. Come on, get on this porch. Got a little bit to talk about today. So y'all come on, get on the porch. Tag, and share. I think we got an interesting convo. Dr. Pace, my guy, is on the porch. Let's tag. Tag. Let's get them on the porch with us. Get everybody out here. Share it. Share. We are on the porch. Good to see everybody on the porch. Let's get them back on the porch and let them know we're here. We're ready. We're locked and loaded. We have real but good convos on the porch. So just warn them. Say you coming on the porch. It's gonna be real now. If something said and step on your feet, just drink your little tea. You'll be fine. Good. Glad to have you. Glad to have you on the porch. Well, listen, I'm gonna get ready to jump right on in. Let's do what we do. Gracious Father, we thank you. We thank you for being a good Father and our shepherd. We ask that you would cover us, God, that you would bless us, God, that you would say what you want to say and do what you want to do, God, that you allow us to have an experience that will be life-changing, empowering, encouraging. We love you and we thank you. Cover each and every person that's on the porch with us. Continue to grow it, God, to millions, that we are able to reveal our scars to help somebody to know you more and to trust you more, to just live the best life. We love you and we thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. So good afternoon once again. We're on the porch. Now listen, today is going to be one of those conversations. So you need to get people on here, especially because today I want to deal with what has seemed to be more cancerous than it has been care. This thought, which we get from the Bible, but I think we use it as cancer, and that is being unequally yoked. Being unequally yoked. I want to deal with that because, man, I don't know about y'all, but I feel like we live in a cancer generation now. You know what I'm saying? Like you disagree with me, you cancel. If I ask you to be there at 7 and you call me back and say you got something else to do and you can't be there, cancel. If I tell you, I don't want you to go out and you go out anyway, cancel. You know what I mean? Like we live in a time now, and I'm not just talking about people in the world. I'm talking about the church too. I'm talking about people in general. Like, man, you know what I'm saying? If you don't do one thing, it don't matter the 100, the 99 things you've already done for them. But if you don't do one thing, you're canceled. Like they forget how you showed up all, the other 99 times, but this one time that you can't do it, this one time that you don't have it in you, this one time that you don't have the money, this one time that you just don't have the capacity, like they just fire you. Like, have you forgot what we all put together? And then we gift it up as we just unequally yoked. No, we not. No. This is just one time. So if we're unequally yoked now, that means the 99 times that you took my money, hello church, the 99 times that I'm on the phone with you because you crying about absolutely nothing, I take my whole weekend to spend with you because you depressed. Because somebody you should have never been with, you decided to be with. And so I have to listen to you cry about it. That means that all that was, we weren't equally yoked then, but you still received it. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? How people will forget everything you've given them because the one time you can't show up, or the one time that you disagree with them. We're gonna talk today, y'all. Y'all get them on here because we gotta deal with this. Like if we're gonna be, and again, I'm gonna go spiritual here. If we're gonna be in church, if we're gonna be Christians, we gotta learn how to love and give folk grace. And understand people's perspective. Like, doggone it, like I say, people now, they'll cancel you out for just stupid stuff, man. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, we in a whole marriage and you gonna throw away the whole marriage all because one disagreement? I'm just talking about what I'm talking about. If I'm not helping you, I get it. You can go about your business. But I'm just saying, like, you willing to throw away a whole decade of friendship. You are easily, and this is what makes me question who you are from the beginning, that maybe I had it wrong, because you're willing to throw away one of the most expensive commodities there is in relationship, and that's called loyalty, because of one thing. You know what I mean? And then the thing about it is that if I come back to say, well, listen, let's talk about, we ain't got nothing to talk about. Yeah, we do. But again, it's because we took in scripture out of context. We're just unequally yoked. No, because here's the reality of it is you can disagree and still be equally yoked. I believe somebody should have to go do some render some apologies, because you can disagree and still be equally yoked. See, disagreement, watch me here, disagreement, Renee, and division are two different things. Disagreement is an opinion. Division is a posture. And too many of us, because of a disagreement, we deem it to be division. It's not division. You know what I mean? That's what makes relationship toxic. When you want me to say everything you want me to say, you're manipulating me. That's witchcraft. You are on that fine line of becoming a narcissist when you're trying to control my own thoughts, and that you feel like all my thoughts have to agree with what you're doing. That's witchcraft. You can't control people like that. But you get mad at me because I don't feel like we ought to take money and go on a vacation. You get mad at me because I don't feel like you ought to be with them, because the history has showed that they've never been loyal in relationship. But you gonna fire me over that? I remember, true story. I remember doing a session with someone, and long story short, their husband was, stepping out or whatever, and people was telling this person, hey, listen, this ain't it. This ain't what you think it is. But this person's best friend decides to go missing. And this person had an alt against their best friend. And I asked myself, well, have you ever talked to them? And had come say, no, I don't feel like we just unequally yoked, and they should have been there because they wasn't there for me. You know how they do, and the list goes on. Here's the interesting thing. So after a few sessions, Jess, they end up going to have a conversation with the friend. And here's what the friend told them. The reason why I disappeared was to save our friendship. I said, how you mean? And that person was like, what do you mean save my friendship? They said, because everybody else close to you was telling you, and you abandoned them, you aborted them, you threw their whole relationship away. People that you've been friends with longer than me, you threw away. So I felt like it wasn't worth burning this. I'd rather avoid it and maybe have the opportunity to come back to it than to burn this and be no more. Isn't that crazy? So the friend basically told them that because other people told you and you wouldn't listen to them and you counseled them, instead of me being counseled, I'd rather just avoid it and maybe come back later. And that person had to humble themselves, because I told them, I said, then that's a crying shame, because the reality of it is, if I'm going to put you in my friend circle, you ought to be able to offend me. Uh-oh. Now we're finna get a little dirty. Because for some of us, our failure is because we don't ever be offended. That's why we got so many scars, because nobody else offends us, because we feel like if you offend us, you're operating, you're the devil, or if you offend us, you against me, because the world has told us either you for me or you're against me, and that's not the truth, because I can be for you and still be against you, because I'm not a doggone puppet. I'm not the president of your fan club. And the reality of it is, if I'm going to be in your friend circle in this posture, then I'm going to tell you some hard truths. And sometimes hard truths are hard to swallow. See, that's what we got to deal with in today's society. We've got to deal with the fact that we got to quit calling toxic relationships people who want to tell us the truth. We got to quit calling toxic relationship people who ain't scared to hurt our feelings. That's what we got to deal with today. No, you don't need no therapy. No, and we got therapists on here. No, you don't. You just need to accept what people are trying to tell you. You out here being foolish. That ain't being toxic. What's being toxic is what you're doing. But you want to rely on you want to rely on things. You want to find excuses that's going to help you do what you want to do. No, let me tell you something. If you want to go out here, and I get it. I know I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's on the porch. But if you want to go out here and you want to sleep with everybody, that's your business. But on the fact that that's what you want to do. But what you can't do is keep doing that and trying to find excuses of why you're doing it. That's what you can't do. If you want to go out here and rob a bank, that's fine. Go rob the bank. But what you can't do is try to find a reason that's going to permit you. See, that's when we get in toxicity. That's where we get in the issue at. It's because we allow people to live, watch this, in the gray space. You don't get to live in the gray space. You got to make a decision on what you do, and you got to eat it when it's time for you to come back around. That's what we got to decide on. That's what we got to work on. We got to learn that it's okay. Listen, the Bible says that, watch this. The Bible talks about in Proverbs, iron sharpens iron. Now, I don't know if many of you ever took the time out, but maybe you need to do. Maybe you need to go on YouTube or Google what that looks like, what iron sharpening iron looks like. It's not a pretty sight. It's flares, and the people who are doing it, they got safety gear on because sparks are going everywhere. Why? Because it's not pretty, but it's needed. And if you're in a community, if you're in a circle, I'm going to go ahead and help you. If you're in a circle, if you're in a community, if you're in a marriage, if you're in a partnership, and everybody always goes along with you, you're in a toxic place and you need to abort immediately. Listen to me. You need to abort it immediately, because that, my friend, is toxic. When everybody just always goes what you say, when nobody challenges what you say, that's toxic. And if you're in a place and you don't give people the grace to challenge you, you're toxic. Yep, I said it. I said it. You're toxic. You're the problem. It's not everybody else. It's you. Because you listen, I don't sleep with you, so I'm gonna tell you the truth. You're not smart enough to always be right. Can I help? Can I help the church? You listen, as good as you may think you look, you still not smart enough to always be right. That's why some of us are not. I might as well say it. I'm on the porch. That's why some of us are not in a healthy marriage. We're in a slave to master situation. That ain't a doggone marriage because you can't even speak your mind. You can't even articulate how you feel because you're too scared of what they're gonna do. They may lock me out the house. They may cut my credit cards off. I don't care nothing about that. If you're wrong, you're just wrong. And again, that doesn't mean that you're unequally yoked. Like some of us right now, we often talk about being in physically abusive relationships, but many of us, the problem is we're overlooking the abuse that we're in. And if I may argue, I believe many of us, I believe there's more verbal and emotional abuse of marriages, relationship than there are physical, and we're too scared to check it. Let me tell you something. I love the ground Lady Shay walk on. And as much as I love her, I'd be doggone if I'm gonna be in a marriage and not know who I am. I'd be doggone if I'm gonna be in a marriage and let somebody take my identity. I'd be doggone if I'm gonna be in a marriage and let somebody beat me down. The only thing I can do is breathe, and I can't even do that loud. The devil is a liar. We've got to learn how to We've got to learn how to get over our feelings and state the facts. The problem is, for most of us, is that we don't know how to walk in facts. We rather run the feelings. And your feelings is what keep getting you in these toxic issues. Your feelings is why you're lonely. Your feelings is why you feel like nobody is for you. These aren't facts. These are your feelings because you can't get over yourself because you feel like you always right. And people just need to do what you say. But what you say is wrong. Some of us have fired and counseled some people that we needed. And that's why we got the scars we got, because if we would have kept them, they would have gave us the wisdom we needed, but we fired them. And now we had to deal with it on our own. Get out of your feelings. That's the double standard. Auntie Brenda's on here. Happy belated birthday, Auntie. But that's the double standard, Auntie, that we have now. How is it that you're able to tell me wrong, but I can't do the same? Make it make sense. How is it that it's okay for you to go out and sleep around and do what you want to do and come in the house 1, 2 in the morning, but you expect to know my every move? Make it make sense. I'm not a doggone child. I'm not a dog. You don't get to control me like that. And too many of us now, that's the issue that you making. Exactly, Jess. You making an issue based on your feel. You making a decision based on your feelings, and people are trying to tell you that that's stupid. Don't do it, and you getting offended, and you calling them toxic when you're the one that's toxic. How do you know? Because feelings always cost you. Think about it. If feelings always cost you, always. They always cost you. And then we trying to we try to come up. We try to use, and those that in church, we try to use scripture to live or to present why we're toxic. How can two walk together unless they agree? Well, we can agree to disagree. That's okay. We're not toxic. But it's normality. See, here's what we've got to learn. And I shared this last night with a group of people that I love, and this is becoming our thing to eat after Bible study. But here's the thing we got to understand is that one of the biggest kryptonite that we have now is a lack of communication. And here is the thing we need to understand. Number one, not knowing how to communicate. Watch me here. It's just as worse. It's not communicating at all. See, we got two kind of people that are bringing cancer into humanity. It's the ones that don't know how to communicate, that feel like they can say what they want to say, how they want to say it, and everybody else is supposed to adjust. And then when they're wrong, instead of them apologizing, they feel like you just should get over it. Those people, see, those people you got to confront. Those people that you got to kill them at the beginning. You got to stop that at the beginning. That's why you got to learn. That's why you got to have a voice, because see, stuff like that you got to deal with at the beginning. It don't mean that they're bad people. It just means they got issues that people keep avoiding. And you know what we say to people like that? That's just the way they are. No, you don't get to be around me and that be the way you are. No, that's not gonna work out for me. You don't get to just say on a whim. You let those kind of people are just try to tell you off. They'll say things are hurtful. They'll try to bring up vulnerable spaces, and then you're supposed to deal with it because they're gonna say, well, I was just having a bad day. No, that don't give you a right to cross the line. They don't give you a right to be toxic. No, that's not gonna happen. We're gonna deal with that. You see what I'm saying? And then Elder Karen, the same thing is then we got another side of people who just won't say anything. You're just as worse. Because why are you hanging out with somebody that you know are headed off a cliff going 90 to nothing? Why won't you open your mouth? You know how stupid the decision they about to make. Why? And then you have the audacity to say that's them. No, you, my friend, are toxic. You're the problem. At the end of the day, I often tell people, anybody knows around me, probably heard this saying before. Listen, you can't be a fool and be around me. No, you'll have to be a decisional fool, because what you won't do is be around me and me not tell you what's right and what's wrong. And too many of us will sit around and we'll let people be jacked up and we'll be like, well, that's just them. That's stupid. You know how that make you look? That's like you walking around with somebody that's got snot on their shirts and boogers in their nose. And you like, that's just them. No, you don't get to walk around with me like that. You don't get to be around me and your breath smell like you know what? No. You smell like you ain't bathing too much. No, I'm going to say something. We're going to deal with it. And that could be true, Jess. She said people tend not to say anything because some people don't like constructive criticism. So when you tell them, they get mad. I don't give a hill of beans about you get mad, especially not when you in my personal space. You can be mad and be an associate. You can be mad and be somebody that I speak to every now and then. But if you're going to call my number every day, if you're going to be in my house, I don't care nothing about you being mad. Nothing. I'm going to sleep good. Because what you don't get to do is you don't get to be connected to me and be cancer. Yeah, y'all better get some folk on here. We talking good today. Mm-hmm. And see, Vanna, don't give a hill of beans, because that's the problem. That thought right there, Jess, that's the issue that we say, well, you know what? I ain't got time to deal with their attitude. Then those people you need to remove from those kind of spaces. Those people you need to remove, because you don't get to be, see, we got to value who we are more. And that's the issue, because and I'm glad Jess brought that up there, because that's the truth. We would rather allow people to be foolish, not having to deal with them, than to tell them the truth and risk losing them. I'd rather you leave me and know the truth than stay with me and live a lie. Can I help you? Can I help somebody? I'd rather you leave me and know the truth than to stay with me and live a lie. No, you don't. No, baby, it ain't for you. You know how many people I done told that? Because they come up to you with these lies. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know why I feel like talking, but we're on the porch. But let me tell you something. A lie is a lie. Quit allowing people to justify lying. No, a lie is a doggone lie. No. You know, like I don't understand it anymore. You know what I'm saying? We'll sit there, and I'm talking about now. Hear me what I'm saying. Auntie, these folk are in our personal spaces. These are the people we deem to be besties, quote unquote. These are our girlfriends, our homeboys. You know what I'm saying? They're around here. They good married and cheating. Uh-oh. I'm finna get it now. Folk gonna start logging off. I might as well go ahead and get it off. Yeah. You good and married and you cheating. And I'm supposed to be okay with you not honoring your vows. Make it make sense. See, I question people who be around folk who allow them to do crap like that. I'm not mad at the ones who doing it. I'm mad at the ones who keep turning a blind eye to it. You see what I'm saying? I'm mad that you would sit there and be okay with your homegirl sleeping around with 7 different men and you know about it and won't say nothing to it. I'm mad that you'll let your homeboy cheat on his wife, knowing he got a good woman, he got children, he got too much to lose, and you won't say nothing to him. No, we don't play them kind of games on this side. You better find somebody else to play with because I'm not the one. See, these are the kind of conversations that we got to start having. You see what I'm saying? That's why there's so many failed marriages. That's why there's so many people that feel like marriage ain't for them. Why? Because you didn't have anybody to tell you the truth and you allowed your feelings to override the facts. The facts was there, the science was there, but you were so in love because of your feelings, because you hadn't had anybody to buy you roses and you decided to jump all in and you found out that it wasn't water, it was ice. See, these are the truths that we got to talk about. Yeah, you avoided the facts because of your little feelings. I ain't never had nobody to take me out. I ain't never had no. It don't matter. What are the facts? I don't know why I'm down this road, but I'm down here now. That's why we got to start choosing people that ain't afraid to tell us the truth when we do premarital counseling. That ain't nothing to play with. You know, these are the issues that we're having, and then we just counsel people out. So you mean to tell me that you've been friends and you've been friends with this person for 20 plus years, but you'll be willing to throw 20 years away because of your feelings, because you think that this is the one, and they telling you no, they not, and you willing to throw all that away, and you ain't been knowing this joker but for 6 weeks, not even 6 weeks, and you ready to walk away from everything. Make it make sense. I mean, you willing to throw away your whole family. They've been there with you thick and thin. They've been there. The long nights, they were there. When you tried to kill yourself, they were there. When you felt like you felt like you were nothing, they were there. And you are willing to throw them away because of your feelings, because they struck. Let me watch my mouth. Because they rubbed you real good, because they took care of you in the bedroom. You got to be kidding me. Girl, you just don't understand. Ain't nobody ever made me feel that way. That clown got 4 baby mamas and got children by all of them and don't take care of none of their kids. Why in the dickens? Why? The facts are on the table. Why would you convince yourself that what you're seeing is not what you're seeing? Why? And here's the truth of the matter is, I don't have a problem with you wanting to go play. But my problem is when you decide to go play and then you get mad because you got dirty, and I'm supposed to feel bad for you. Y'all better get me off this here porch because it's getting. I see where this is headed. But you see what I'm saying? I'm not mad that you want to go play. What I'm mad about is that you getting upset that you getting dirty. What did you think was gonna happen? You see what I'm saying? I don't care. Again, it goes back to ownership and being accountable. That's what I'm saying. But you want to counsel everybody and say you are equally yoked. You want to throw away everybody else. But you went out there. What you think was gonna happen? You went out there and played in mud. Make it make sense. You see what I'm saying? You thought you was you thought you was a magician. You had magic. They did too, baby. They did too. They did too. And one thing about food, about one thing about your feelings is they'll fail you every time. That's why the old song used to say, there used to be an old song, Keenan. The old song used to say, it takes a fool to learn that love don't love nobody. Why? Because it's just feelings. It sounds good. That's why they said that, because it sounds good. Yeah, but we don't, again, but see, and that's the craziest thing, Renee, that's the craziest thing is that instead of us going to find the facts, we'll stand on feelings. And what are you talking about? You will make their exes enemies. Why would they be your enemies? That girl was just like you. She thought she was in love too. Oh, I know. I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. That's what I'm talking about. See, now watch this. The Bible says that bad company corrupts good character. See, that's the thing for some of us. We got bad company. And what is bad company? That'll allow us to stand in foolishness. Bad company. Bad company are those folks that allow us to stand in water and believe we ain't wet. That's what bad company is. You standing in doggone water and you want me to convince you that you ain't wet. No, baby, you wet. This is good and wet. Drenched with your stupid self because you shouldn't have went out there. And since I'm here, let me help some of you out. Quit allowing people's emergencies become your emergency. Let me tell you something. That was a hard lesson I had to learn, but I'm trying to give it to y'all for free. Quit allowing other folks' emergencies become your emergency. Now your crazy self knew that the first was coming around the corner, but you decided that you wanted to go out there and be part of the beehive and go and go to Beyonce. That's your problem. But you don't get to come to me begging me for my hard-earned money when you threw yours away. They're gonna cut my lights out. Well, you better light some candles. You're gonna learn today. Hello, church. Too many of us now. That's what we stress about, stuff that ain't even ours. It ain't gonna benefit you none, and you stressing over it. Girl, how she gonna feed her kid? I mean, how they gonna have gas money? The same way they did before they came and found you. They'll figure it out. But you upset and you keep telling everybody else, why won't they do it? They won't do it because they know you're going to be boo-boo the fool and do it. I don't got to do it if you keep doing it. I can throw all my little money away because you're going to always give me more. That's crazy. No, you're going to be grown, be grown. You were grown enough to go to Beyonce. You're going to be grown enough to be outside on the street. Hello, church. You want to cry to me now, but I told you that rascal was no good from the beginning, but now you want to cry. I told you what she was at the beginning, but now you want to come to me and you expect me to feel sorry for you. I don't. Pick up your face and you just go figure it out. I'm going to bed. Yeah, I told you in the beginning. The facts were there. No, I'm going to bed. You going to leave me up? Absolutely. And if the Lord delays coming, we'll talk about it tomorrow. But what we're not going to do is stay up all night and talk about that, because that ain't worth talking about. It was dead at the beginning, but you decided that you thought you had resurrection power and you was going to make something out of nothing. You deal with it. I'm going to bed. I got to work in the morning. Hello, church. You're going to sit there. And then the crazy thing about it is, my son is on here, Barry. Love you, boy. The crazy thing about it is you want me to give you all my money, and so now your bills are paid and I'm broke. You make it make sense. No, I'm not finna be broke for that. Because you were foolish. You out there trying to floss and be something that you're not, and you should have been at the house. No. I'm going to bed with my money. Yeah, guess what I'm gonna do? You can be mad all you want to. You ain't got to call me no more to next year, but I'm gonna have money and I'm going to bed. Because what I'm not gonna do is allow you to take what I don't work hard for and my peace and throw it away. Because that's what you're gonna do. And then some of us, our problem is we got to learn how to quit allowing people to play on our emotions. No, you can get mad all you want to, but the answer is still going to be no. That's the answer. No. Some of you need to go. Some of you need to get up and say yourself in the mirror. No. And quit allowing people to try to use spiritual wickedness, because that's what it is, being a doggone witch to make you feel like through the Bible you doing something wrong. No, I ain't doing nothing wrong. It's my harvest. I worked for it. I sold for it, and you don't get this, and I don't have to give it to you. And some of you now got some decisions that you need to make. Why? Because you're in some relationships that you know you need to cancel. And then there's some relationships that you need to go, you need to know you need to go apologize and get back, because you done threw away the wrong ones. I'm just trying to help who I'm trying to help. Because it doesn't make any sense anymore that we would throw away the right people for a wrong person. You know what I mean? We'll set ourselves up for kill and then get mad that we got killed. You set yourself up for that. Let me tell you something. They ain't never paid you back. Why would they start today? Uh-oh. I'm gonna get out of somebody's business now. You hear me? They've lied every day. Why? And you keep giving them your money, your hard-earned money. You already. I might as well say it. Paris on here. I might as well say it. You barely got a pot to piss in now, and you giving them the pot. Why? And now you at home trying to figure out how you gonna make it the rest of the month, because you on disability. You ain't got money as it is. You on disability. You trying to make it how you gonna figure out the rest of the week, because you done paid all your bills. You barely had enough to get you through the week. Now you figuring out how you get to work. The devil is a liar. You better send a letter to Beyonce next to send you your money back. That's the only thing I got for you. I can pray for you, but what you won't do is disturb my peace or ruin my money. The devil is a liar. I'm going to bed. The days are over for wasting your time on people that don't appreciate your time. That's over with. And that's what we do. Too many of us, listen, let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't hear nothing else, I'm telling you, listen to me. Time is the most valuable thing you got. And some of us, we're too frivolous with it and we waste it. That's why we are still in a stuck place. That's why we're still broken. That's why we're still broke. That's why we're still single. That's why we're still in the same position we've been in the last 5 years, because we keep wasting time on things that don't deserve our time. That's why. It ain't the devil. It's us. And we got a doggone fan club instead of friends. That's the problem. We got a fan club instead of friends. And we continue to allow them to allow us to walk into a fire building. We continue to allow them to set us up for failure. And some of us, we might as well call ourselves ATM, because that's all we do is give. People just withdraw and we let it happen. They withdraw. They keep coming to us, withdraw. They never deposit. Listen to me. They've never deposited anything. Never. When do you decide that when do you decide that this is over? When do you decide that, you know what, at the end of the day, they might have hurt my feelings, but they were trying to help my future? That's a real thing, Vanna. That's a real thing, that sometimes your feelings got to be hurt to help your future. You see what I'm saying? Some of you, that's our problem. We need our feelings hurt, because we've been living in this fairy tale imagination, and it's time now for somebody to be the bearer of bad news. It's you, baby. You're the common denominator on why things keep happening around you. You are. It's you. It ain't the devil. It ain't mama and him. It ain't dad and him. It's you. It's you. It's you. You know why it's you? Because you're trying to convince your mind that what you're seeing is not what you're seeing. You're trying to convince your mind that this is something else than it is. No, baby, it's a dry cup. Ain't water, no water's in it, ain't ice in it. It ain't gonna never have it in it. It's you. You know, and here is the weirdest thing is, you when people tried to tell you it was you, you counseled everybody else out. When they tried to tell you, you aborted everybody else. Absolutely. It's delusional. Yeah. You don't walk away from your mama and them. You don't walk away from grandmama. You don't walk away from your siblings. You don't walk away from people that was meaningful. Why? Because you was chasing your feelings. And now that it failed you, you don't even have the humility to come back. You'd rather stay in a failed place than to rebuild. The devil is a liar. This is your message. Get yourself up, humble yourself, and go back. Foolishness. That's our issue. Many of us are like the prodigal son, but the difference is he had more wisdom than we do, because we'd rather sit out there and eat the pig slop than to humble ourselves and go back and make it right. No, you need to go back and apologize and say, you know what, I was wrong. And let me tell you something. Let me help you out for free. When these rascals come back to you, you listen to the Lord. Because some of us, the problem is they know they can come back, and then we let them come back right where they left off. No, you got to work yourself back. Let me tell you something. I'll forgive you. But now me forgiving you and you being back in that place that's two separate situations. I'll forgive you, but you're going to have to earn the right to be back in that space. Okay, we don't want to hear that. Okay, I got you. I'm going to let you go because we don't want to hear that. You mean tell me this rascal done went and cheated on you with somebody that you know, and you like, well, he didn't really mean it. He was me. Baby, you the biggest fool I ever seen. I know they won't tell you. I'm going to tell you because I ain't got to sleep with you. You ain't got to call me. You ain't got to get back on the porch, but I'm going to tell you, you being a doggone fool. You sitting here going to work, and that rascal laying on the couch. You mean tell me, Doc, you going to work and you working 12 hours in a plant, and you come home and you got to go to McDonald's? You ain't got the right folk around you. Listen, there's a story, there's an issue that happens in the Bible, in the New Testament. Go read it. The Bible says Paul confronts Peter. He confronts Peter because the text say that Peter was acting one way with the Gentiles when the Jews was around. But when the Jews showed up, he would act funny toward the Gentiles. Paul confronted him. Let me tell you something. Confrontation doesn't have to be confusion. It's not. It's me teaching you how to handle me. Because what you're not going to do is handle me wrong and make me go with it. No. That's what you're not going to do. And that's why so many people keep handling us wrong. It ain't their problem. It's our fault. Because we let them do it. Well, they didn't mean it. Well, they didn't know. It's okay. They was having a bad day. You see how stupid that sounds? Oh, you didn't mean to lie on me. You didn't mean to stab me in the back. That doesn't even sound. You see how stupid that sounds? But that's what we make ourselves believe. You hear me? That's crazy. They you know what I mean? They were just going through they was having a bad day, and I'm okay, but you got to have boundaries. And because you don't, let me tell you something, you don't get to cut my head off because you're having a bad day. Because what am I supposed to do? And that's why you got to be careful about who you allow in your personal space. We could be associates, that's fine. But I'm talking about in my personal space. No, I don't deal with foolishness like that. So you got to be careful. Let me tell y'all something. When you're around the right people, I know some stuff about you know, I know some stuff. I used to, when I started in ministry, I was an armor bearer, and I used to serve my bishop. And at that time, I used to sit in the room when he would have conversations, counseling. I would sit in the room as an integrity person. There's some things in me that will blow your minds about folk, but guess what? It's going to the grave. So you got to have people around you that are vault, that it don't matter if we have a disagreement, the world will never know. I know some stuff about folk that people would never know. It'll go to my grave. And some of us are too frivolous, and we just tell everybody everything. And then we get mad when we see it on Facebook. We get mad when they get mad at us and they start telling all our business. Well, you should have never, they told you everybody else's business. What did you think was going to happen? So you got to understand, if I'm gonna be yoked up with you again. Now you got to understand this, and I gotta let y'all go. But when we talk about being yoked up with the right person, you got to understand what that looks like. What it is it's this thing that they would put on two oxen and they will go the same way. You know, you found them, they'll be pulling something the same way. And so if we're unequally yoked, that means I'm going one way and you going the other way. So that's why you got to understand what we going. Let me help some of you out now. That's the problem. You have gave your allegiance to somebody that's going the opposite way. And you're trying to figure out why you still stuck. See, that's different. But if we're going the same way, and I'm just disagreeing with you the way we're going, it doesn't mean we're unequally yoked. It just means we got a difference in opinion. You see what I'm saying? You know, and let me say this. See, and that's why some of you got to do some evaluations, because you're absolutely right. I see y'all posting it being a fault. Everybody knows who around me. That's all I am, is a human fault. People call me and I just listen. But see, let me tell you something about a vault. My daughter Carla's on here. Love you, girl. Let me tell you something about a vault. A vault, if you ever worked in the banking world or ever been to a vault, only the people who put it in there gets to go in there. You don't you don't get to just say, you know what, I'm gonna go look in somebody else's, information about it. Don't work that way. It don't work that way. And that's why some of you got to be careful because you done fired the wrong folk. You need to go back and get them. You might not have liked what they said, but they was telling you the truth. They were telling you the truth. You might not have liked how mama and them said it, but they were telling you the truth. You got to have safe places, and you got to be able to have reputable places to be able to help you become a better you. And like today, some of us need to take a few days. We're at that middle point of the year that now is time to make a hard turn. You hear me? A hard turn. And some of us, I asked somebody the other day, I said, well, what is it that you want to do? And here's what I appreciate about them. They looked me in the face and they said, I don't even know. I said, well, that's a good place to start. See, that's honesty. You can deal with folk like that. But what you can't deal with is people who are like chameleons. Every week they're trying something different. Every week they're doing something different. And let me tell you something. I'll be honest. I got to let y'all go. But some of y'all, y'all scare me. Like, how is it that you get on Facebook? Elder V is on here. I love you. I'm grateful that you made it back. I need to hear all about your trip. She went on an outreach initiative for Love City. I want to hear all about it. But anyhow, Elder V, some of these folks scare me that, you'll get on Facebook and for 60 days straight, every day, they talking about, they man or they girl. They got pictures, they kissing, they doing all this. And then one day you'll get on there and that person will be missing. I mean, you can't find them nowhere on their timeline. You got to wonder, you got to be scared for folk like that. Like, how do you make somebody go missing that for 60 days straight? They was all over your timeline. I mean, they are missing. There's no trace they ever. We don't even know if you ever knew them before. You got me thinking maybe maybe I'm going crazy. What you got to hide that for? To me, when you do stuff like that, sometimes that's the indication that going into it was wrong. You knew going into this it shouldn't have been. But listen, I'm getting ready to let y'all go. Thank y'all so much for joining me on the porch. Lady Shades on here. Love you, baby girl. Thank y'all so much for joining me on the porch. Insanity, Vanna. Insanity. But y'all, the way we help people is we got to be honest and we got to start having some hard conversations. Control, alt, delete. Yeah, absolutely. It only lasted 60 days. So y'all know, y'all been there. I'm not crazy. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But here's the thing though. Why you got to hide it? Why you just can't let it be? It didn't work out. Keep it moving. But typically that's because you're now eating what everybody tried to tell you to avoid. Charlene, to God be the glory. Love you. You see what I'm saying? Why you're embarrassed? That's what I'm saying. Now it makes sense to you because the reason why you're deleting this is because you knew what it was at the beginning, but you thought you was gonna be the one to prove everybody else wrong, and now you wanting a number. So now you don't want to deal with it. So now you're trying to erase it. No, it's just a scar. It'll heal. You'll move on. Right now, it's a sensitive wound, and the thing about it is, if you stop touching it, it'll heal sooner. But look, I'm out of here, y'all. I love you. Have an amazing day. Y'all tell everybody we're back on the porch. We're back on the porch. God has downloaded some great things for me. And again, if you're anywhere this Sunday, yours truly will be at Grace, Asheville. If you're anywhere near it, you want to get to Grace. That's all I can tell you. You want to get to Grace. God has given me a word. You want to get there. Church will be had this Sunday, 9 a.m. at Grace. Meet us there. There'll be a word. Good friend is preaching at the Life in Gaston. If you're anywhere near Gaston, get there. I'm preaching at Grace at 9 a.m. And if you can't make that, I will be preaching at Universal Worship Center in Gaston. I think it's at 3 p.m. The flyer will be on my page. I get to be with a few generals that's got voices in our generation, and with a great pastor, Pastor Chad. He's doing a great work in Gaston, and so I'm excited to get to share with him. 3 p.m. Sunday, or you can meet me at 9 a.m. at Grace. I feel God all over Sunday. I love y'all, and I'll see you next time. Same place, same time on the porch. I'm out of here.